What if Tanjiro was related to Yoriichi? Now, you guys voted for this in one of my newest posts. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the post tab and vote on future videos so I know what you guys want next. So, what if Tanjiro was related to Yoriichi? I've done timelines similar to this, but this one goes deeper into the bloodline. Let's quickly go over Yoriichi's backstory. I'm not going into full detail, but here's what actually matters. Now, Yoriichi Tsukikuni wasn't just some strong demon slayer. He was different from birth. He was born during the Sengoku era with the demon slayer mark already on his forehead, not awakened, not trained into it. He had it as a baby. That alone already puts him above everyone else. On top of that, he naturally had the transparent whirl. He could see muscle movements, blood flow, every tiny motion before it even happened. And the crazy part? He wasn't even trained to be a warrior at first. His twin brother Michikatsu Tsukikuni was the one raised as a samurai. But the moment Yoriichi picked up a sword, it was over. He outclassed trained adults instantly. He eventually created sun breathing, the original breathing style. Every other breathing form in Demon Slayer, it all branches off from what he created. That's how far ahead he was compared to everyone else. And then there's his fight with Muzan Kibutsuji. He didn't just fight Muzan. He nearly killed him by himself. He cut him into pieces so fast that Muzan had to split his body apart just to escape. That fear stayed with Muzan for centuries. But even with all that power, Yoriichi lost his wife and child to demons while he was away. He failed to kill Muzan. The Corps blamed him. He was exiled. And his own brother, consumed by jealousy, became Kokushibo, Upper Moon 1. So when we talk about bloodline, we're not just talking about strength. We're talking about the strongest swordsman to ever exist in this verse. Tanjiro would come from a very high-level samurai bloodline. Yoriichi's bloodline would carry the potential to produce extremely strong warriors. And if you look at Yoriichi's case, he was born with the Demon Slayer mark. So in this timeline, that mark becomes more common in his descendants. So Tanjiro's family would always have the mark on their forehead. Just like Yoriichi, it wouldn't disappear. Sun breathing would stay in the family, and their Nichiren blades would naturally turn black. Let's start from the beginning. Tanjiro goes out to sell coal. The old man stops him and tells him demons are roaming at night, so he stays. The next morning, he returns home and finds his family dead. Nezuko is turned into a demon. He fights Giyu. Now here's the difference. Some people might say, if they're Yoriichi's descendants and no sun breathing, they should have killed Muzan. But no, they're going up against Muzan. The only ones who truly practiced sun breathing were Tanjiro's dad and Tanjiro himself. Most of the family were girls or younger children. They couldn't fight Muzan, so Tanjiro fights Giyu. But this time, he doesn't struggle nearly as much. He already has some combat skill from training in sun breathing with his father. He goes to Urokodaki, but instead of learning water breathing, he continues refining sun breathing. He already knows it from his dad. In this timeline, he actually knows all 13 forms. He just sharpens them. By the time he reaches final selection, he's far more refined. He easily kills the hand demon. He defeats the swamp demon and the drum demon. He meets Zenitsu and Inosuke like normal. Then we get to Mount Natagumo. Everything plays out the same, up until the father spider demon. Tanjiro handles him quickly because he already has the selfless state. Since he's directly related to Yoriichi, the selfless state is something passed down and taught in the family. Now for the Rui fight. Tanjiro finds Rui while protecting Nezuko. They fight, but this time, Tanjiro doesn't need to awaken sun breathing. He already mastered it. He cleanly cuts Rui's head off. Giyu and Shinobu arrive afterward. Shinobu kills the demon she originally killed and helps Zenitsu. Giyu doesn't need to save Tanjiro from Rui this time. He just protects Tanjiro and Nezuko from Shinobu until the master says it's fine. Now, for the Hashira meeting, Sanemi would actually put up a way better fight in this situation, but there are still two Hashira, Obanai and Sanemi, pinning Tanjiro down, so he really can't do anything. So anyway, the Hashira are still stronger than Tanjiro at this point, and Tanjiro still doesn't become a Hashira. First of all, yes, he killed a lower moon, but he just joined the Demon Slayer Corps, so they wouldn't give him that rank yet. That said, he's already almost Hashira level. Now we get to the Mugen Train arc, and Tanjiro does not go. He already knows where the Hinokami Kagura comes from. It came from his dad. He's related to Yoriichi, and he already has the Demon Slayer mark. He was born with it, so he won't die at 25. He already has the selfless state too, so Tanjiro never goes to the Mugen Train. Rengoku still dies, sadly, and Tanjiro continues training and goes on more missions leading into the Entertainment District arc. Now, when Tanjiro goes to the Entertainment District, everything mostly plays out the same. I'll skip most of the dialogue. They still dress up as girls. They still find Upper Moon 6, Daki. This time, Tengen, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tengen's wives are fighting the other half of Daki, the Belt Demon. Tanjiro handles Daki one-on-one, and this fight is way easier for Tanjiro. Daki has to go full power immediately because Tanjiro is dodging all her belts. He blocks and redirects them using the selfless state. He's completely locked in, and he cuts off Daki's head much faster this time, without Nezuko's help. That's when Gyutaro comes out. But with Tanjiro in the selfless state, he can dodge all of Gyutaro's attacks. He keeps up easily. Then Tengen jumps in. Tengen fights Gyutaro, while Inosuke and Zenitsu go finish Daki. Tanjiro and Tengen team up on Gyutaro, and since Tanjiro is already basically Hashira level, this pressure actually awakens Tengen. Tengen's Demon Slayer. Now they're both fighting at hashira level. Together, they take Gyutaro down much easier than the original timeline. Inosuke and Zenitsu finish Daki at the same time. So the entertainment district ends with Tengen keeping all his limbs fully healthy and now having the Demon Slayer mark. I still think he retires though, because his wives want him to stop after defeating an upper moon. Now for the Swordsmith village arc, Tanjiro is never in a coma, so he keeps training, fighting demons, and going on more missions. Because of that, he's even stronger than in the original timeline. At this point, he's probably almost above hashira level. So when he goes to the Swordsmith village, even though he still needs a new sword, everything plays out a bit differently. He gets there, finds Yoriichi's sword, meets Mitsuri, Muichiro, and Genya, trains with the boy, trains with the doll, finds Yoriichi's blade, and does everything else the same. I'm going to skip ahead to the part where Muichiro clamps Tanjiro's nose and Upper Moon 4 attacks. This time, Tanjiro is fast enough to make sure Muichiro does not get blasted away. Now with Muichiro and Tanjiro, two hashira level fighters, they absolutely destroy the emotion clones way faster. The house doesn't get pushed down right away, like in the original timeline. Genya can barely keep up, Nezuko can barely keep up, and Tanjiro turns his blade red by himself using pure grip strength. After that, the clones merge into one giant emotion clone. Muichiro tells Tanjiro, "I'll handle the main emotion clone. Go find the main body and kill it." Tanjiro does exactly that and kills the main body on the first try. After that, Mitsuri, the love hashira, arrives, saves the village chief, and fights Upper Moon 5, Gyoko. Since Mitsuri fights with range and flexibility, she avoids getting trapped in the water prison as easily. With her Demon Slayer mark activated, Mitsuri defeats Gyoko in this timeline. This is where she fully awakens her mark. This time, everything is much easier overall. Nezuko still conquers the sun, and everyone survives with barely any injuries, except for Mitsuri since it was her first real Upper Moon fight. After that, we move into the hashira training arc. Tanjiro already has the Demon Slayer mark, so he can help train others and push them further during the training. Now, for the Infinity Castle arc, when the master sacrifices himself and Muzan shows up, he traps all the hashira and Tanjiro inside the Infinity Castle. Now here's the thing. I want to drop Tanjiro into a completely different fight. I want to drop him straight into the Kokushibo fight. We never really saw that in this timeline, and if I don't do that, Tanjiro's role doesn't really change much, so this makes the most sense. Tanjiro drops directly in front of Kokushibo. He's the first one to arrive, and honestly, this feels like fate. In Demon Slayer, a lot of fights are tied to fate. Shinobu versus Doma was fate, Kaigaku versus Zenitsu was fate, and Tanjiro being related to Yoriichi, who is Kokushibo's brother, makes this fight fate too. Now we also need to give Giyu a partner, so I'm pairing him with Sanemi. So Sanemi and Giyu versus Akaza happens instead. There are really only two ways to beat Akaza: the selfless state or overwhelming power. Giyu has the perfect defense and Sanemi has the perfect offense. Together, that's one of the strongest duos in Demon Slayer. They overwhelm Akaza, cut off his head, and once he realizes he was wrong, he remembers his wife and finally dies. Now for Doma, things mostly stay the same. Shinobu still dies, but her poison is already in Doma's body, and Inosuke with help finishes him off just like before. Now back to Upper Moon 1. Tanjiro meets Kokushibo first. Kokushibo immediately goes into a rage when he sees Tanjiro's earrings and realizes he's a sun breather, but Tanjiro dodges his attacks using the selfless state, the Demon Slayer mark, and the fact that he's already above normal Demon Slayer level at this point. Genya tries to help. Muichiro joins the fight. Then the real turning point happens. Gyome arrives. Gyome starts throwing hands, and him and Tanjiro are almost on the same level, but Tanjiro keeps pushing higher and higher. With Tanjiro and Gyome fighting together, plus Muichiro and Genya supporting, they finally overwhelm Kokushibo. They cut off his head, and Kokushibo remembers Yoriichi even more when he looks at Tanjiro. He goes out fighting harder than ever in this timeline, but Tanjiro is simply too much. Kokushibo dies. Now for the side fights, Kaigaku versus Zenitsu still happens, and Zenitsu wins using the 7th form. Yushiro, Mitsuri, and Obanai versus Nakime happens next. Yushiro takes control of the Infinity Castle. Muzan realizes what's happening, kills Nakime, and Yushiro gets everyone out of the Infinity Castle, leading straight into the Sunrise Countdown arc. Now for the Sunrise Countdown arc, Tanjiro, already having the Demon Slayer mark and everything mastered, is on the battlefield from the very beginning. Unlike the original timeline, he's right on the front lines. The hashira still get pushed back by Muzan's massive opening attack, but Tanjiro doesn't get hurt nearly as badly. Him and Obanai still rush Muzan and help drag him out into the open. Now here's the big difference. Tanjiro doesn't need Yoriichi's memories to unlock the 13th form, because he already knows it. He's been trained in it his whole life, so he starts using the 13th form on Muzan immediately, and everything progresses much faster. From here, most of the fight plays out similarly, just cleaner and more control, because Tanjiro is stronger from the start. Mitsuri probably survives this time, since that huge blast would play out differently with Tanjiro holding the front line earlier. Obanai still loses his eyesight, but he survives. Tanjiro never becomes the Demon King. king. They successfully kill Muzan. Now for the aftermath. Gyome still dies because of the Demon Slayer mark. Sanemi and Giyu still die at 25 because of the mark. Mitsuri and Obanai get together, but they're both heavily injured, missing strength, eyesight damaged, yet they live together until 25. Shinobu and Giyu never happened since Shinobu died earlier, and that's the end of this timeline. Now honestly, not a lot changed in this one. I thought it was a crazy good idea at first, but once I started building it, most of it still followed the original events. I still like it though. Go check out What If Tanjiro Was a Demon. That's one of my favorite videos I've ever done, and if you like longer content, check out my 1-hour Demon Slayer compilation. I really like how that one turned out.